Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is the 27th of April, the month of April flying by as they always do, almost at the beginning of a new month. And today we're going to look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain over the last couple of days, to be exact. We'll also look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times. We'll go into the chat section too, check out what viewers are saying in today's chat section. So if you're watching the live stream, say hello in that chat. Now, straight into the news, and Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez again making huge promises, especially when it comes to housing. Very, very ambitious project he put on the table the other day. As we can see here, Mr. Sánchez announces a 1.3 billion euro over a decade to boost construction of 15,000 modular homes per year. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has announced the 1.3 billion euro investment plan over the next decade to promote the construction of modular homes in Spain. Funded through annual ICO loans of 130 million euros, the new project, part of a strategic economic recovery plan, PERTE, aims to modernize the housing sector by shifting construction to factory settings using modular production systems. This approach is expected to enable the construction of about 15,000 new modular homes each year, with the goal of exceeding 20,000 units annually after 2035. The government plans to deliver 150,000 modular homes during the initial investment phase. Sánchez emphasized that this initiative seeks to build more and better homes faster while making housing more affordable for middle and working class families. The announcement was made during the closing ceremony of the Rebuild Construction and Housing Fair in Madrid, positioning modular housing as a key solution to Spain's housing crisis. So finally, after years of debate and many other previous promises, Prime Minister Sánchez putting more ideas on the table there. Another plan to build 15,000 homes a year, modular homes over the next 10 years, 150,000 homes in total over that period of time, and the investment from the government, 1.3 billion euros over the next decade. So there we go. We'll see if this solves Spain's housing crisis, which, as we know, in recent times has seen many people take to the streets to protest about the lack of affordable housing or decent housing in this country. So we'll see if this government idea gets off the ground, firstly, and secondly, solves the crisis, because as we know, governments often come out with grandiose ideas, but sometimes they don't get off the ground. So we'll see if this one does. Second piece of news here, and workers in Madrid seal agreement, and Madrid's garbage strike ends just as the effects became visible across the city. After 6 days of mounting garbage across Madrid, the city's waste workers have officially ended their strike. On Sunday, employees ratified the pre-agreement negotiated the previous night between unions and waste management companies. The deal was finalized just hours before a deadline was set by the Madrid City Council, which had warned it would hire external contractors under an emergency plan if no agreement was reached. Madrid's environment official, Borja Caravante, had also pressured waste companies by imposing escalating fines for failure to meet minimum service levels, 1.6 million euros by Friday, 2 million euros by Saturday, and 400,000 euros extra each following day. The strike had visibly impacted the city, with trash piling up across streets and public areas. While with the agreement now in place, regular waste collection services are expected to resume immediately, bringing an end to the disruption that had threatened to escalate if no resolution had been found. So garbage workers in Madrid agreeing to go back to work. Rubbish piling up in the city after the 6-day strike. Some fairly ugly scenes around the capital city of Spain, with the rubbish piling up, as I just mentioned, and of course all of the health risks that can bring, because if you're not familiar with the Madrid rubbish scheme, individual buildings are required to take their rubbish down to street level to dispose of it that way. People don't have individual rubbish bins like they might do in some other countries that they leave out on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis or whatever the case may be. In Madrid, all of the containers are located at a street level and rubbish is taken down to them. And of course, when the bins are full, what do people do? Well, they leave the rubbish wherever they can, normally around the bin area, and that's when problems start to occur because animals get into it. Cats, for example, get into the rubbish, and it can become quite messy. So luckily, the council putting its foot down and demanding that the workers get back to work and reach an agreement with the contracting companies, because the rubbish services in Madrid, of course, are external. And it was a disagreement between the companies that have the contracts. All of the big construction companies normally provide this type of service as well, and the dispute between those companies and the workers. Third piece of news here, Consumer Affairs identifies 9,125 illegal tourist apartments in Galicia. The Ministry of Social Rights, Consumer Affairs and Agenda 2030's crusade against unlicensed tourist rentals has moved from Madrid to Galicia. A month ago, Minister Pablo Bustindui delivered a digital file to Madrid City Council revealing 15,204 tourist apartments operating without a license, based on cross-referencing 6,335 advertisements with just 1,131 authorized licenses. This led the ministry to demand the removal of illegal ads from major platforms like Airbnb and Booking. This Friday, during a meeting with Goretti San Martin, Mayor of Santiago de Compostela, Bustindui announced another file will soon be sent to the Xunta de Galicia. It identifies nearly 15,000 tourist listings across Galicia, with 9,125 suspected of operating illegally for lacking a license number. Bustindui has urged the regional government to collaborate with the ministry and local councils to crack down on these illicit advertisements. So again, the ministry here cracking down on illegal tourist apartments, this time in the autonomous community of Galicia in the northwest of the country. 9,125 illegal apartments there. We saw in Madrid last week, we saw the news here on the channel, some 15,000 illegal tourist apartments in Spain's capital, Madrid, and 9,000 in Galicia, or just over 9,000 in Galicia. And the mind boggles that these apartments still exist today, given the problems that these platforms have caused over the last few years regarding housing shortages and the like. The ministry trying to crack down, but with those type of numbers, it is not easy. 9,000 illegal apartments in Galicia on websites like Airbnb and Booking, and who knows what the total figure would be around the country, because a lot of people putting that money straight in the pocket and not getting licenses for these tourist rental apartments. That's the way they operate. And the final piece of news today related to the Dana storm that hit Valencia some 6 months ago now, or close to it, if not more. The family of bakers who lost €2 million in 7 shops in the Dana disaster zone. We haven't received anything from the authorities. 6 months after devastating floods hit Valencia's southern metropolitan area, recovery remains painfully slow. Businesses along the main roads still show visible scars, with many stores shuttered and life advancing only in fits and starts. Among the worst affected is Don Pa Artisans, a bakery founded in 1987 by the Garrido family, now run by siblings Lydia and Jose Carlos. Before the disaster on the 29th of October 2023, their business boasted 9 locations across 7 towns. Today, they've lost 7 stores and approximately €2 million. Despite the massive losses, they report receiving no financial help from public authorities. Paiporta, one of the hardest hit municipalities, exemplifies the ongoing struggle to rebuild. Many local businesses remain closed or under repair, and normal life has yet to return to the flood-ravaged area. The Garrido family story highlights the long-lasting impact of the flooding and the challenges small businesses face in recovery efforts. And there's an error in that text that should say the 29th of October 2024 and not 2023. So 6 months after the Dana hit that area, businesses like the Garridos there still closed. 9 bakeries they had up and running before the Dana hit, and they're still waiting for money from the government. You would think that after 6 months they would have received some type of compensation to at least get their businesses up and running again, but not the case. And the question's now being asked, how long is it going to take to rebuild or get that area back to normal, especially areas that were hardest hit like the Paiporta area of Valencia, just the south of Valencia capital, that, as we know, was destroyed in a big way on the 29th of October when the rains came down from kilometers away up in the mountains of Valencia, and the people there, with no warnings, were absolutely smashed, and businesses like that still struggling to open. So we'll see if the government pulls its finger out of the proverbial hole and gets the money to the people in need, because it's well overdue. Now into the comment section, we're going to go some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. This one here from Stephen. Only gullible boomers consider Putin a threat. No one else sees it. Thanks, Stephen, for your words of wisdom there. Obviously, you know what's happening in geopolitics, or whatever it's called, world politics. You understand exactly what Mr. Putin's thinking every hour of the day, every minute of the day, and you're not listening to people that probably have more experience than you with this type of thing. The boomer generation, as you put it there, and also the European Union, who sees it as a potential threat, Mr. Putin, and is currently trying to rearm to prepare for a potential threat. That's what the experts are saying, but according to you, obviously you know more than everybody else, Stephen, only the gullible boomers consider it a threat. No one else sees it, because maybe you've got your head stuck fair up your date, maybe. Next one here from Digger. It's always the same in Spanish politics. Someone throws a hissy fit and threatens to leave over something or other, but when push comes to shove, they actually they like being in government, and the government paycheck and power trip that comes with it. Thanks, Digger, for the comment. We've seen in recent times the hard left side of the government, Mr. Bustendui, the Minister of Consumer Affairs, one of those hard left politicians here in Spain, Yolanda Díaz, even though she's moving further to the right every day, and other people that sit on the hard left of politics, not happy about Spain doing deals with the Israelis, buying bullets from them. But apparently over the last few years, or ever since the Gaza issue flared up, Spain has been continuously buying arms from Israel. So maybe that wasn't brought to light in the past, but this recent story has come to light, and threatening to leave the coalition government. But of course, we're talking about people that are receiving salaries that are way above anything else that they would be able to get in normal society. People that probably haven't had much experience in the workforce, for example, Ms. Diaz and other people like that are on cushy salaries, and the power trip, as Digger points out there, they're just going to sit back and allow this legislature to run its course, and of course get that pay packet every month, and then of course all of the riches that will come after that, because they probably will have a pension for life, I would say. But yep, they kick up a fuss, but at the end of the day, they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. One here from Recipe Review. How does the IMF reward Spain on its forecast when Spain has not published an agreed budget for a few years now? Surely you can't project off an old budget. Thanks, Recipe Review, for that. Yeah, that's a question that a lot of people are asking here in Spain. When will the current government announce a new budget? They've been kicking the can down the road for a couple of years now. 2023 was the last time budgets were passed in the Parliament. I think December 2023. Don't quote me on that. So we're looking at close to 18 months now. But Pedro Sánchez not worried. He just wants to. He knows that he probably doesn't have the support to get those budgets across the line. So he's just keeping on with the extension of those budgets from 2023. And the IMF, we saw the other day, rewarding Spain by not downgrading the economic forecast, where everyone else did have their economic forecast downgraded by the IMF, but Spain no. And not sure how they do it, so we sit here scratching our heads. One here from Slow Arrett or whatever here. Am I the only one feeling the Spanish costas are not only overbuilt, but are starting to get old and ugly en masse? Most of this construction started in the 1980s. A lot of idealista listings are really old. I don't know if people are going to keep coming if it gets uglier by the year. Thanks, Slowerot. You could come to that conclusion looking at some of the coastal resorts around the countries that the buildings do need a coat of paint or some type of renovation works. I'm sure they will get around to it eventually, but when you do go to some coastal resorts, as you mentioned there, and I just said, the buildings that were built back in the 70s, the 80s, are starting to look a bit old and, a little bit out of date. Will people stop coming? Don't know. I don't know. A lot of the times the outside of the buildings is not the most important thing. It's the insides. If they're being done up, I'm sure people will continue to rent them out. But the outsides can be fairly ugly. And old they certainly are. But what can we do? Maybe we'll start to build modular apartment blocks down on the coast. Don't know. Thanks for that. Another one here from Andrew. The Spanish Labour Party has not escaped controversy. All it has done is kick the can down the road yet again. Thanks, Andrew. Yep, politicians, that's probably their favourite pastime, kicking the can down the road for the next generations of politicians to deal with. The public just gets sick and tired of the same things over and over and over again. The problems for some politicians are just too big. The bureaucracy is too strict, too rigid, and things are not done quickly in any way, shape or form. Politicians talk a lot, but at the end of the day, the same problems keep coming back time after time after time after time. And kicking the can down the road is a good way to sum it up. Thank you very much, Andrew, for the comment. One here from Katie. Thank you for being honest about life as an immigrant here in Spain. I'm tired of content creators who most often make higher foreign salaries talk about life here. Foreign dollars changes everything, but also a real conversation of the cost of living, realities of social interactions, and the busy life of living in the big cities. Thanks, Katie, for the comment there. I am aware that there are lots of content creators, especially on the short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram and also YouTube Shorts, putting out this idyllic picture of Spain because they're earning the foreign dollars. Everything, of course, is in their price range because with those foreign salaries coming in, I think the minimum to be able to get the digital nomad visa is over €2,500 a month. I think, don't quote me on the exact figure, but I think it's around there. And of course, if you're making that kind of money when the local worker next to you is only on around €1,200 a month, everything seems pretty rosy. But when you're in the real Spanish economy, it's not easy sometimes to make a buck, and that is the reality of life here in Spain. Plenty of people left comments the other day saying that being a self-employed person here is not easy. It's always a struggle. It is everywhere, but here particularly, and anyone who's owned a business and dealt with the red tape, dealt with all of the charges that you have to pay, that you have to fork out every month will tell you that it is not easy to get a business up and running. And that is why there is a black economy in some parts of the country, which is quite large, because people prefer to avoid the government regulations by doing the working in the black economy more so. And yeah, it can be a struggle, but yeah, anyone can put their own opinions on TikTok. And let's be honest, those short form social platforms really are only there to paint a rosy picture about everything nowadays, right? We don't really see the reality on short form content. Firstly, because it's too short to get anything serious happening, and also because the people that do it are, young probably, and making those foreign salaries, and yeah, it is what it is. But thanks for the comment. And the final one here from Lilith. Spain is great for living if you're not Spanish, a Spaniard living abroad. There we go. Lilith sums it up perfectly. Spain is great for living if you're not Spanish, a Spaniard living abroad. And that has been the case for many young Spanish people that have had to leave the country. And of course, one of the big complaints with so many foreigners coming into countries like Spain is that they do distort the reality of living in the country, especially, as I said, the digital nomads who are coming in ever since that visa was approved a couple of years ago, and of course competing with higher salaries than the locals, and it creates problems. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is the next visa that is scrapped by the current government, given that there are some complaints starting to be heard by locals where digital nomads are flocking to, normally places where the weather is good. And of course, we know that is Andalusia and the Canary Islands, because if you're a digital nomad coming from the north of Europe, you don't want to go to a place where the weather's similar to where you come from, do you? You want to go to a place where you can enjoy the Spanish lifestyle. So thanks for that. And hopefully one day you'll be able to get back to your country of origin. Thank you. Now, live chat time. Let's get the live chat open. Before I do, I have to change the backdrop picture. This one sent in by a regular viewer and valued member Barbara, who recently travelled to this town here, a place that I went to maybe last year, I think it was, Alcalá de Júcar, or Alcalá del Júcar, or Alcalá de Júcar, I think it is, in Castilla-La Mancha, province of Albacete, the Júcar River, which of course creates problems for towns and villages further down the track when a lot of rain hits the area. But a very picturesque village it is on top of the hill. Not for the faint-hearted. If you have moving issues, if you have a disability, for example, I wouldn't recommend this town. But if you are able to walk up those hills, you will enjoy a place like Alcalá de Júcar in Albacete, as I said. Thanks, Barbara, for sending the photo through on Barbara's many travels around the country. The email address, if you have a similar picture to send through, is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your pictures through to that address, or anything else that you would like to send my way. Feel free. And also, I'm just looking up if it's Alcalá del Júcar or de Júcar. Alcalá del Júcar. There we go. So it's del Júcar. And also, if you haven't hit the like icon, the like icon is on the screen at the moment. So do us a favor, if you haven't hit it, hit that like icon, please, just below the video. You will find it. So thanks, Barbara, for the photo, and all of the people that have sent photos through in recent times to get on the backdrop here. Now, people that have supported the channel in recent times, super thanks. Buying me a coffee, super chat here on the live stream. Thank you very much. Longer term supporters on Patreon, always grateful for that longer term support. And the channel members of this YouTube channel, thank you very much for that support too. Now, as I said, into the chat section. Let's open it up. let's get started. We've got a super chat here from Marcus, regular contributor to the channel, valued member also. The weather is good enough in Madrid today to offer you a cold one this evening. Thank you very much, Marcus. That is true. A little bit windy. Friday was a fantastic day, 27 degrees. Today, as I said, around 21, 22, a bit chilly in the morning, but it is definitely beer weather. Definitely. Chris from Upsticks has sent through a super sticker. A pair character jumping up and down saying #1 fan. Of course, I can't see the actual character jumping up and down, Chris, but thanks for that. And anyone who needs immigration advice about moving to Spain, that's the person for you right there. Chris from Upsticks got all of the things that you need to move to this country from a third country. So what I mean by that is the United Kingdom, United States, Australia, Canada, or any other third country. Chris can help you out, point you in the right direction. Chris from Upsticks. Now, Barbara, we are looking at Barbara's photo on the backdrop, currently in Madrid, where she's watching the tennis, the Madrid Open tennis. The weather has been pleasant, 21. Thanks, Barbara. As I said, a bit chilly this morning, but we can't complain about 21 degrees. I'd take it every day, to be honest. Andrew, agreeable few days weather-wise in Amariña, up there in the north of the country, in Galicia, where those 9,000 illegal tourist apartments are. Warm and sunny. Thanks for that, Andrew. John's in the chat here too. High flyer, John. Hope all is well. Back in the UK and back at work, so we'll catch up later. Have a great week. Thanks, John. Regular viewer Janet and valued members in the chat too, coming in from sunny Oxford. They're in England, United Kingdom. Al, value member also, is coming in from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. 16 degrees there, partly sunny, settling in my new place there. So Al's moved, has he, from San Diego to Philadelphia. Thanks, Al, for that. Amanda's coming in from Shropshire, sunny there too. Thanks, Amanda. Good to see you today. Margaret coming in. Good to see and hear you blessed. Thanks, Margaret, for that. Thank you. Dark Side saying that they're also in Oxford. The Dark Side Cider with the Barcelona badge there. Obviously happy that Barcelona beat Real Madrid yesterday in the King's Cup here in Spain. An interesting game it was, at least the second half, I think. Real Madrid were completely outplayed in the first half. In fact, I've never seen a worse-looking Real Madrid side in a final for a long, long time than yesterday. But they scored a couple, I think. Alan's in the chat too. Al, the man Westlake, coming in from a warm southeast London, hoping that we're all well. Matthew coming in from Guildford. Let me get this up here. 22 degrees there, almost hot enough for the Lido. I imagine that's Guildford in the UK, not Guildford in Western Australia where I come from, I suppose, given the time of day. Donald's coming in, also a valued member from Estepona, Spain. Not missing San Diego. Love the channel. Thanks, Donald, for that. Not missing San Diego. No, I imagine no. Many people are happy with their life here. That is true. Marcus, valued member. We saw the super chat from Marcus before. With all those, will those be high quality, comfortable, durable homes? Here's an idea. If the modular homes are so great, let's see how many Airbnb short-term rentals are in modular homes. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, just the plan put forward by Mr. Sanchez the other day. Of course, one of the many plans that come out of his mouth. Some of those ideas never come to fruition. They disappear off the agenda list fairly quickly. But we'll see if this one is a long-lasting plan or not. Plenty of money, of course, put forward there with those ICO loans, which you would think would be interest-free, but it's not the case because they go through the bank. So the government puts up the money to the banks then give the money to the clients, and then the banks charge the interest rates on that money. Thank you very much. Good business, the banking. Good business is banking. What else we got going on here? A little from column A. Week 7 of the Birmingham bin strikes in the UK. The government won't step in as the unions prop up the Labour Party. That's an issue there. That is an issue, of course, the unions. I think the situation with the Madrid workers was, of course, the threat by the Madrid City Council to hire another external company, because all of those workers, of course, working for external companies, the big construction companies in Spain, Safir, can't think of any other, ACS, Acciona, all of those companies also have services because it's all government contracts, and of course they put the hand out, and the money just comes in the billions, and that's how everything works. So they've agreed to go back to work, which is good after 6 days, not like the 7 weeks in Birmingham that we have there, which I imagine must be atrocious, the rubbish situation there. What else? Let's have a look if we can find something else here. William asking the question, why is it that in Ireland a GB and a GB, what's this? In Ireland and GB, a European citizen can join the national police or the civil service, but any foreigners resident in Spain cannot do likewise. Also very difficult to get a job here. Yes, William, it is very difficult to get a job here, and you are right. I don't think you can become a member of the civil service here in Spain unless you are a Spanish national, or unless you're doing some type of exchange with another European country. That could probably work, not sure. But I wasn't aware that European citizens can join the national police force there in Ireland and Great Britain, so I wasn't aware of that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. If you want to become a Spanish citizen, you have to do the test, of course. If you're not a Spanish speaker, you have to do a language test and a 25-question citizenship test, which take place every month. At the end of the month, the Spanish citizenship test. You only have to get 15 questions right, so it's fairly easy. 15 out of 25, so you can always do that. And then you could probably opt for one of those government jobs, William, in the central government, of course. You wouldn't get a job working in the Basque Country unless you speak Basque, or in Catalonia unless you speak Catalan, and probably in Galicia unless you speak Gallego. So choices are limited also. Valued member Stephen's in the chat here too. Decent day there in the southeast, heading back to London after visiting his son in Brighton. Thanks, Stephen. Hope all went well with that family visit. Marcus has another comment here. How about compulsory swapping of those touting city centre short-term rentals for modular home in far-flung part of the city? So the modular homes aren't so attractive anymore. There we go. Another comment there from Marcus about the modular homes. Chris is in the chat saying hi. Hi, Chrissy. Iggy's also here, coming in from a sunny Jaén down there in the south of Spain. Olive oil territory, of course, is Jaén. Janet saying, thanks for standing up for the boomers, Stuart. Yeah, well, obviously, Janet, the comment was a little bit silly in my opinion, thinking that only boomers are worried about the threat from Russia, and the rest of the younger generations, I don't know what generation that person belonged to, but probably a millennial, and spending too much time on his mobile phone probably, and not worried about what's happening in the world because might not affect him or her. Don't know, but yeah. Mike in the chat here too, coming in from Vermilion, Alberta, Canada. 3 degrees below zero there. Snowing. Seems to be up and down a lot, the weather in that part of Canada. One day it's 15 above zero. Next day 3 below. And the 27th of April. Johnny, hello all and happy Sunday. Thanks, Johnny. Brad's in the chat here too. Muy buenas a todos, saying hello to everyone. Nothing shabby in Marbella, and a few less UK tourists is welcome. Thanks, Brad, for that. Gigi coming in from Surprise, Arizona, landing in Madrid 1 week from today. Going to be starting off on the Camino de Santiago, of course. Gigi, check Gigi's channel out on YouTube, where she talks about everything related to the Camino de Santiago. Andre is asking a question here for somebody called Brad. Is there somebody in the chat section called Brad? Maybe Brad, yes. What's your thoughts on families visiting Madrid, Seville, and then perhaps over to Lagos, given some of the unrest and frustration with tourists? I imagine that Andre is talking to me, or Andre is talking to me here. My name's not Brad, by the way, Andre, so I'll forgive you on that if it is directed at me. If not, I'll let Brad answer the question. But yeah, don't worry about the anti-tourism sentiment. It's only a minority of people. It's the same people that protest about everything. So I wouldn't be too worried about it if I were you. And go about your holiday in a normal way. Obviously, try not to do anything that would annoy the locals. That could get people offside. But you know, I live here looking like a tourist 12 months of the year. I never have any aggression from anybody. Maybe if I start the aggression, I'd get aggression back in traffic and things like that. But yeah, I look like the permanent tourist here with the color of my skin, blue eyes, fair hair. But I've never had any backlash, and I traveled all over the country, and I do constantly. Never have any issues. So yeah. What else we got going on here? The Jazz Shed is in the chat too. Good evening. Watching on catch up for a while, but live tonight. Lovely day in Bury St Edmunds. Enjoying a nice bottle of Rueda, white wine Rueda. Thank you. Envision Pergola is coming in. Valued member coming in from Tampa, Florida. Heading over to Spain on the 8th of July to start the new life. Can't wait. Nerja. Down there in Malaga, Nerja. Nice place is Nerja. I will say I've been there many a time over the years. Not recently, of course, but many a time. George coming in from Barcelona's Old Quarter. Thanks for the my continued efforts putting out current events news in Spain. Thanks for that, George. If people watch them, I'll put them out. If people don't watch them, I'll stop. It's as simple as that. Jane in the chat too. Pete and Jane are planning our summer trip to Barcelona, Pamplona and San Sebastian. Final stay in Madrid. Love Spain and can't wait to get back. Thanks, Jane. Hope all goes well with your trip. Antonio. Hello, Stuart. Amazing video about Spain. I mean, the last one about Spain. Spot on. Thanks, Antonio. Yeah, I think people have liked the recent video that I did. I think I put it out on Friday, maybe. Not sure. It's a typo. Thanks for that, Andre. A typo it was. What else? Brad also saying here that there's no anti-tourism problem there, anti-tourist problem there at all. Relax and enjoy the holiday. Absolutely, Andre. I think it was the question. Just relax, enjoy the holiday. I wouldn't worry about some radicals that have tourists in their sights blaming the low-hanging fruit for every problem that they have. Maybe if they got up off their backsides, maybe if they got up off their behinds, maybe if they got up off their derrieres and actually tried to work hard for a living, they might not be complaining about all of these things. But as I said, the low-hanging fruit are the tourists who come to enjoy this country, everything that the country has to offer, and of course, a small group of radicals are feeling a little bit left behind, let's say, but the rest of the population, no problems at all. And I'm traveling tomorrow, and I'm not expecting any tourism backlash or tourist backlash. If I get it, I'll let you know, but I'm not planning on it. Bob coming in from Torrevieja, I think, valued member also. 150,000 houses over 10 years. That's just 10% of the projected need. So it will help but not solve the problem. Yeah, it's a difficult problem to solve, Bob. It's not unique to Spain, as we know. Lots of countries have the same issues at the moment. They haven't been building houses for whatever reasons. Probably couldn't get their hands on materials there for a while, so it slowed the building down. And now, of course, they're trying to make up for the shortfall. I suppose Sanchez sees it as a headline that will please certain sectors of the population. Again, will we see these homes or not? Sanchez come out with some big numbers over the last few years, and nothing's happened yet. So we'll see if this one does. His time in government, I think he's halfway through this term, so he's got a couple of years to go. But we'll see if we actually get any of these projects up and running. So if you are in the modular home business, I'm sure that you're rubbing your hands with glee, as many people are, no doubt, with that announcement. Now, that's the end of the live stream. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll be back again on Thursday. No live stream on Tuesday. Thursday will be the next one because I'm on the road tomorrow, traveling to the south of Spain, hopefully to get some videos prepared, some good weather hopefully I will have as well, and also some fantastic cuisine from the south of the country. Another super chat's just come through from Andre, $4.99. Cheers for that. Love the channel. Thanks, Andre, for your support there, and I hope we answered the question. And Antonio saying thanks. Have a nice trip. I hope I will have a nice trip, Antonio. I've checked the weather forecast. It looks to be quite nice down there in the south over the next couple of days. And as I said, looking forward to trying some of that southern cuisine. Frank, one more here. Traveling to Spain, but to avoid the tourist traps, hablo español. Hice. Thanks, Frank, for that. Traveling to Spain soon. So, as I said, back again on Thursday with a live stream. More content coming out in the meantime. Stay tuned for it. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. And bye-bye. And thanks for the support with the Super Chats today, guys. Appreciate it.